Students, to the next module of this chapter. And what are we going to learn in this module? We are going to learn the process of double fertilization. We are going to see formation of a fruit, and we are going to learn about the process of germination. So let's begin this module. In the last module, we saw that the pollen grains are transferred on a suitable stigma with the process of pollination. But these pollen grains have to reach the female germ cells which are in the ovary. And as you can see in the image, the ovary is right at the bottom. So how would they reach? For this, a tube grows out of the pollen grains and travels through the style to reach the ovary. As you can see in the image adjacent to me, there is a tube-like structure which has come out of the pollen grain. This tube-like structure is going to grow the entire length of the style. Let us see how does this happen. Okay, in this pollen tube, now as you can see, there are two male gametes. In this pollen tube, you can see those two brown color cells. They are the male gametes. Okay, now we have finally got our male gametes, and they are going to travel in the pollen tube till the female gamete. Let us see. The pollen tube grows through the stigma and style by dissolving the tissues and reaches the ovary. As you can see in the image adjacent to me, the pollen tube has finally reached the ovary. Okay, what is going to happen next? Of these, one sperm nucleus. Now, in the pollen tube, we established there are two male nuclei. Out of that, one sperm nucleus or the male nucleus enters the egg cell and fuses with the nucleus. What happens then? This is the first fertilization. Okay. While the other sperm nucleus or the other male gamete, as you can see in the diagram, moves towards the two polar nuclei in the central cell and fuses with them, merges with them. And what does it produce? Okay. Does the three nuclei together produce an endosperm nucleus? Students, endosperm, a nutritive tissue which is going to help the zygote to grow. Okay. Altogether, in this process, we saw there are two fertilizations which have occurred. First male gamete with the egg cell and second male gamete with the two polar nuclei. So total two fertilizations, and therefore we say this is the process of double fertilization. So in flowering plants, we have something called as double fertilization. Okay. One sperm nucleus fused with the egg cell nucleus, and in the second fertilization, the other sperm nucleus fuses with two polar nuclei together. Okay, after fertilization, the flower has served its purpose. We established that the flower is a reproductive organ of the plant. So after fertilization, the flower has served its purpose. So what will happen? The petals, the stamens, the style and stigma wither and generally fall off. After serving their purpose, now there is no use of them. So they just dry off, they wither off and they fall off. Okay, so wither, that means they are going to dry off. Excellent. Now what happens? The ovary which is remaining absorbs lot of water and enlarges to form a fruit. That means the ovary is transformed into a fruit and the ovarian wall forms the wall of the fruit. Beautiful. Let's go further. The ovules become the seeds. The ovules that were inside the ovary now transform into the seeds inside the fruit. After this, the seed contains the future plant or the embryo. Students, you must have often heard, when you sow a seed, a plant grows. Why does this happen? Because the seed contains the future plant or the embryo. As you can see in the image, the embryo has started to sprout. Okay. Further, embryo develops into a seedling under appropriate conditions. That means when you sow seed in the soil, it gets ample of sunlight and ample of water, it will grow into a seedling. As you can see in the image, inside the pot, now you will find a seedling sprouting. Excellent. This process is called as germination. And with this, we complete this beautiful module of sexual reproduction in flowering plants.